if you get a 5% increase in your wage for the year, but inflation has gone up by 7%, you haven't actually got a pay rise because you've lost that 2%. And I think the biggest problem now is, and I don't think anything's going to happen with it, but we can't afford to live.
Oh yeah, my YouTube, bro. _ EZY Property. Yeah, Instagram, YouTube, EZY Property. And yeah, that's the main
What
way.
content do you put on your channel, bro?
Behind the scenes of what it's like running a 6-figure Airbnb business. Yeah, man, and obviously support the property as well. So I'm going to be so much stuff about that, what it's like actually buying a property. Just the real stuff, bro. Everything on my YouTube is just Instagram, YouTube is just real, bro.
Okay, and whose side would you say Airbnb are on more? The tenant side or your side?
I would say my side, you know, because when I compare it to like HMOs is heavily down to the tenant. Like when I had tenants who weren't paying me rent for like 4 or 5 months, bro, like getting them out was difficult. But Airbnb, because they're classed as guests,
4 or 5 months. You can actually have tenants in there for 4 or 5 months.
Bro, people can be there longer, bro. I know people who've been in there for like, not in my properties, but one of my boys' properties, like 10 months, bro. In fact, one of the landlords, me and my boy had to help evict the tenant, bro.
Can't you just can't you just go in the yard?
Nope. You can't, bro. Because, bro, they have the power. Once somebody signs an AST, they have so much power. And that's why I prefer Airbnbs, because they're classed as guests. They don't have the power that tenants have. On an AST contract, there's certain things that you need to do.
What does AST stand for?
So just a normal tenancy agreement.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're renting a property from a landlord. So they sign something called an AST agreement. So when you sign that contract, they have so much power. Even before, they don't even have to let you in the property, bro. Like, you have to get their permission to enter the property. You know, if you want to do things by the books, because obviously they can end up taking you to court.
So is there no loophole? So you mean to tell me that? So you tell me that. So if you've rented a property out to a tenant, and let's say 3 months have gone by, they're not paying, and they tell you, "S to your mum, I'm not paying you."
Yeah.
You mean to tell me there's not one loophole of where you could get into the yard? There's no loophole of saying, okay. I'm trying to think. What did my mate say one time? I think he tried to lie and say there was a gas problem. A gas leak, and I think he tried to use that angle to get in the yard and got in the yard. But I guess once you're in the house, because you've given that tenancy to somebody, you don't have any rights to be in that house during that tenancy agreement.
That's exactly it.
Or could you put like, you see, like, let's say like
I'm cutting off the electric.
No,
like, everything's getting cut
not
off.
even only that.
That's illegal, bro.
Could you put a lock on the outside and lock them in?
Bro, you can't do that, but all of that stuff is illegal, bro. Because it's kind of like the house becomes theirs, bro. And that's why so many landlords, like, they get headache from just normal buy-to-lets, bro. But the thing is with HMOs is like, even if one tenant don't give me permission, door number 5 could say I can come in the property, so you're kind of there, so you're gonna bump into the person. And obviously that's what happened with me. They obviously let me in, and then the person was trying to avoid me for time. I was going to the property unexpectedly to see if I can catch them outside. Again, you're not necessarily meant to do that, but yeah, I went inside the property and just had a general conversation, and that's the only reason they got out of the property, because I had a general conversation. I was like, listen, I know you're 5 months behind on rent, but
5 months.
Yeah, I said, no, you're 5 months behind on rent, but the way this can't go on anymore. So you can leave the property, and all the debt that you owe, I'll wipe it off. Bro, what are you gonna do?
CCJ that? What do you mean?
You can't just do it like that, bro. There's structures, bro. Because you know what it is? Even if you, I think it's section 21, bro, it takes like 8 months for it to even get into court.
So basically all that effort and time is just pointless.
Bro, 8 months for it to get into court. And if they decide to just pay 1 or 2 months rent, you have to submit that 8 months, and then they stop again. You have to wait another 8 months, bro. It's long. So for me, if somebody's
losing money,
bro, that's what I'm saying. So if somebody's there 4 or 5 months, I've already lost the money anyway. But I might as well just get them out and get someone else in, bro. And that's exactly what happened on 2 occasions.
And I guess when you're doing your balance sheets or doing your maths before taking on a HMO, do you factor in these kind of things, or is it just a case of I'm optimistic that these guys are going to pay that? What's your background check? So let's say I want to come and move in.
So that's why you lot have references.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you do your reference, man. But it's like, again, you have to do your reference properly, man. Because and sometimes, well, people can pass reference, but life happens. Well, people just be like, you know, I'm going to stop paying rent, and they know that they have so much power, bro. So it's kind of like you kind of have to go off instinct. Like the people that I put in, that's why sometimes I like to meet them face to face, because I want to kind of see their character. Because, bro, even if somebody passes a reference, bro, they can just decide to stop paying rent, bro. And then now you're chasing people for money, and so many landlords are going through that.
So what you're saying is, ideally, if somebody wants to live for free for 6 months, you say that they can literally live for free for 6 months.
They can.
Like, so they can pay you. Let's say they pay you 1 month's rent, 1 month's deposit. Is that the typical setup now? So let's say it's a grand. Let's say each room's what? Say £700 for the room. Cool. So they give you £1,400. So technically, that's 2 months of rent they've kind of given you, even though you can't really classify a deposit as rent. But let's just say they're giving you 2 months. So you're saying is that in essence, they could live another 4 months before you could even get to close to kicking them out. Bro, and if you don't get the court thing to kick them out, they can stay.
Yeah, they can basically stay. Yeah. So it's crazy, bro. And I feel like that's why a lot of people that's why even a lot of landlords are even selling their properties, bro. Like it can be headache, bro, if you don't get the right tenant in, bro.
What's mad is that, let's say you've rented out a whole house to somebody.
Yeah.
And let's say, for instance, let's say your mortgage is 2.5, and let's say they're paying you $3 grand.
Yeah.
And let's say they've given you $6 grand up front. After they don't pay for 4 or 5 months, that can be the difference between.
Bro, that's it.
That's your money gone.
Bro, that's exactly it, bro.
You could end up losing the house if
Bro, that's what I'm saying. You're losing money. You're putting money in your own thing. Like when I was speaking to one of my friends who's a landlord, bro, that tenant was in there for 12 months, stopped paying rent, and there's nothing they could do, bro.
Why didn't you go to court? Why didn't you go to court at the minute they stopped paying?
Because the thing is, they can come up with excuses. Like for example, they say, they're getting a new job. You know, they might pay. They're gonna pay next month or something. Like in my case, the guy. For 1 month he stopped paying. Then he said he lost his job. He was paying me bits and bobs here and there. So I was like, cool, benefit of doubt. He's still making the effort. But before you know it, like it was going time and time and time. I wasn't getting through to him. I ended up contacting his employer. They told me that he got. Bro, I'm telling you. And these are the things that you're not actually meant to do.
Of course, yeah.
But again, when you're.
I'm trying to get hold of you. I can't get hold of you.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, so if you want to go down the legal route, bro, it's gonna take forever, bro. Contact his employer and then find out that he got sacked, bro, for not turning up to work. And and then one of the tenants ended up telling me that his rent money he was using it for studio time.
He
wanted to be a rapper.
He wanted to be a rapper, bro. But he was telling me that his dad died and all that type of stuff. But these times he was using his rent money for studio time. So again, that was in my early stages.
No. You see, when man them say, "Raw, why don't you get into property?" And I hear stories like this from other men I know, I'm like, "Raw, I want to kick the door in, man."
And that's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna kick the door in, man. The feds are coming.
It's crazy, bro.
Bro,
it's crazy, man.
That's mad.
It's crazy, man. And
How much money did you lose in that 4 months?
So for him, he was paying, I think, 600 a month. So again, 604, 2.4. But for her, she was there for like 3 months, no paying. And she was like 700, so 7 times 3, 2100.
Now, do you feel that things need to change? We have to have empathy.
100%.
You know, someone loses a job, and I think it's happened before. Like for instance, there's people that I've employed, and let's say for instance, I felt really sorry for this guy. He joined one of the restaurants, and he was on probation.
Yeah.
But he had left his job, so he joined me, started on probation. He didn't make his probation, so he was moving me for 3 weeks. So when I told him that he didn't get the job, he didn't break down crying physically. He was like, "I don't have a job now." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I've left my other job, like I don't have a job." I said, sorry.
Why did he not pass his probation?
He just wasn't blending in with the team. As in, like, one thing about, that's why I always say that, why didn't God just kill Satan? Like, just get rid of him. Like, this guy's messing everything up. He's putting too much, basmati rice in the jollof instead of using long grain. Just get rid of him. I always say that, why did God not get rid of Satan? And I think when someone joins the team and is disrupting the team, you get rid of them. Like, you play football. What position do you play?
Striker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see a smile on your face. And I'm assuming if somebody was a bad apple in the team, you take them off. Like, for instance, we saw England in the Euros the other day. In your opinion, who would you say that shouldn't have been playing?
Kane, bro, for sure.
Okay, so I think it's clear to see that. But is it fair to say that because of the backlash that Southgate would have probably got for not starting Kane, that's the reason why he played Kane? Now, this guy that joined the team, he just wouldn't blend in. Now, I felt sorry for him because he said, "Look, I've got rent to pay, and I don't know when I'm next going to find a job." Now, he could be one of your tenants, literally, who now stops paying because he can't find a job within 2-3 months. And I think the only way he can afford to live is by not giving you that £700 a month. And my question now is where does one find the balance between empathy and business?
I think you definitely have to be empathetic, but one thing I realised in business, bro, you can't be too empathetic.
What's too empathetic? Give me an example.
It's when people say you're kind. So, for example, in my situation, that tenant took my kindness for weakness because he saw that, cool, I allowed him, he lost his job, so I gave him like a month to kind of get his things on the feet. And when I wasn't really like pestering him, I gave him like time. He saw, okay, cool, this person's really nice. I can really like push further.
Push the boundary.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, he saw boundaries and he just kept pushing the boundaries. Saw how far he could go. And I feel like in business, bro, especially when you're, I could say, the person at the top, like, there needs to be a level of empathy, but they need to still recognize that you're the person at the top. And I think that boundary was blurred.
If you could change legislation or change the laws in regards to tenancy and landlords, how long would you say it should be before you're able to kick out a tenant. So let's say, for instance, they're giving you 1 month's rent, 1 month's deposit. Yeah. So let's say they started in January the 1st. They're giving you 1 month's rent, 1 month's deposit. So they've paid from January to the beginning of February, and you've got 1 month's deposit.
Yeah.
As far as you're concerned, if you could walk into, I don't know, Parliament today and get the laws changed, legislation changed, what powers would you say landlords should have, and what would you say the grace period should be, to the point where it's like, okay, he hasn't paid for 1 month, I can get him out? What would you say that grace period should be?
No, the reason why I find that so difficult is because some landlords, bro, they're scum landlords, bro.
Let's talk about you.
Okay, me. Okay, cool.
If you had to decide, let's say you're in front of Rishi Sunak or whatever the guy's name is now, one of those guys, and they're saying to you, okay, easy, we've seen that you're doing really well at 27, I commend you, sir. We've often heard you talk on podcasts about, tenants who don't pay, and we're trying to help you now. So you've now got the platform now to let us know what the time period should be when we're allowed to get tenants out. What would you say it should be?
I think 3 months is probably fair, because I think 1 month.
And that's 3 months with not paying.
Yeah, so they probably paid the deposit.
Yeah.
So I think 3 months. 3 months of not paid. In 3 months, they should be able to come up with something. I think by month 2, like what I do from now on is by month 1, if they haven't paid, then obviously we're going to the deposit. So in that deposit period, if they're not able to get a job by the time that deposit finishes, then they're out. Like we've already had that conversation. So for me, that's technically, I'll say 2 months, because I know life happens, sometimes things happen, but we want to try and make sure you get on your feet as soon as possible. So for me, it's kind of like 2 months, but month 3, I think it should be fair to get people out.
So month 3 would mean then that you're only out of pocket by 1 month's rent.
Yes.
If I'm right in saying that, wait.
Yeah.
No, wait. If they paid one, so let's say they paid January because they've given you, but they didn't pay February.
Yeah.
That means the deposit's gone from February.
Yeah.
That means that's only 1 month they haven't paid then.
Basically.
So basically, you're saying 1 month then out.
Yeah, but that's technically 2 months of them not paying, because they've already paid the deposit.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because not everybody's not after 1 month straight away, but they might be there for a year, and then they might go through a period where they can't pay this month, and then the deposit's going to take until next month.
Would you argue and say that if that was the case, there'd be quite a lot of people on the street?
Yeah, and I think that's why it's difficult. But I don't think you can ever. It's not going to please everyone, because you're going to upset some people. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But I feel like it's such a difficult thing, man, because again, life happens to some people, or some people lose their job and they struggle to find a job. But I feel like the responsibility shouldn't only be down to landlord. I feel like government and things that are in place, like whether it's like benefits and things like that, they should obviously help more. Again, it's difficult because some people want benefits, but it doesn't help enough. So there's so many blurred lines. But I think really and truly, what it is currently, where you're waiting 8 months to get a tenant out, I think that should definitely be reduced.
I think what I've tend to realise from my mates who've got properties, I think there should be 2 levies on when tenants get kicked out. So for instance, I think if you've gone past the year stage of living somewhere and paying, so let's say I'm a tenant of yours and I've been there from January to January, and then let's say February comes now, so we're now 13 months in and I fall into difficulties, I think there should be a bit more leeway with that tenant. So I think there should be 2 forms of legislation. One where, for instance, if someone's been there a year and they say they fall into hard times, I believe they should be given a period of 3 months.
Okay, yeah.
I believe, and I think you probably know better than me, but I think the tenants who move in and then within 2-3 months, 4 months, they don't pay any rent.
Yeah.
I think more time it's just going to be there's no coming back from it.
There's no coming back. It's continuous.
I think sometimes that was their game in the first place. I think some literally have come to move in, and they decided that okay, this guy looks like a piece of we can handle him, and they just sleep in that room and then you just don't kick them out. But I think if someone's been there for a year, I think there should be. I think 3 months for me of. I don't sound. It's a lot. It's a lot. I think 3 months of no payment, I think should be the boundary. And I think what they need to do is, I think there needs to be like an independent body, so where you don't have to go to court. I think there should be like an independent body who landlords and tenants go to when these scenarios happen, where, because by the time you've gone to court and it's taken this long to get that proceeding, it's forever. I think there should be just a body where this body comes out and literally, okay, show me your bank statement, show me your bank statement, show me where the money has gone in, you haven't paid for 3 months. I think that should be,
I agree.
but then there'll be a lot of homeless people.
And that's why, like,
A lot of homeless people.
100%, and that's why, like, it's a tricky situation, man, because you can't please everyone, or somebody's going to be upset, man. And yeah, man, I feel like it comes down to like kind of like empathy, like morality at the end of the day. Because do you want to, for example, it could be a single let, it could be a single mother with 2 kids. You know, are you really going to kick her out because she can't pay month for 2 months? So because then the kids are going to be homeless. So it's kind of like, it's a difficult one.
Then what about you? You could lose your property.
I know. So that's what I'm saying, bro. It's difficult, but I feel like where there's an independent body, and obviously that's where the government and the council can come in. I feel like if they do more, then it takes less pressure off the landlord, and at least the person who can't afford rent, they can find somewhere
I think
else.
the biggest problem, I think I was seeing some article the other day, and I think it was almost, I don't want to paraphrase it, it's almost like 55-45 in regards to private owned properties and public owned properties. That there are actually not that many public owned properties in the UK. A lot of them are owned by landlords, which means that a lot of the biggest problem is that when you don't have public housing or the government building properties, landlords will take up, as in private people will take up the land and build. And once again, we all know that the cost of renting from the council is a lot cheaper than renting privately. And that's where I think part of the problem lies. And I think some things need to be shifted to your employer.
Yeah.
Because I think people don't realise that. So I was saying to someone the other day that if you get a 5% increase in your wage for the year, but inflation has gone up by 7%, you haven't actually got a pay rise because you've lost that 2%. And I think the biggest problem now is, and I don't think anything's going to happen with it, but we can't afford to live. You know, you're fortunate, so don't nod you can. I know you're not part of our game. Don't try and join us people here. No, you're part of the. You know, you're not part of us here.
Haves and have-nots.
I'm not.
And I think that's where the problem lies, is that we just can't afford to live. No, you can. Sorry, you know, you're on the avenue.
Don't do that, bro. Don't do that. Don't do that, bro. Because I see.
What did I do?
I see what you're doing.
No, I'm just saying, because obviously.
Is what you're saying not hypocritical?
No, because I'm not a landlord like you. Has 15 Airbnbs and
I mean, I don't own them,
you know, going to Huddersfield and just buying up the whole of the area.
How many restaurants you got?
No, but we're talking about residential.
Oh, sorry, bro.
No,
Sorry.
commercial.
You were just talking about haves and have-nots, so I was just...
No, I was talking about residential.
Okay, my bad. My
You know,
apologies.
and I'm just here trying to, you know, put that wording for those who.
Gabe was saying soon we're going to go back to old school when I used to live in Niger, where you would have two, like you and your cousins all live in the same house.
But I think
and
that's
sharing
what.
rooms and bunk beds.
But that's what we're doing. A lot of people are actually sharing homes, and that's because we actually can't afford to live by yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest problem, is that all jokes aside, everyone's in this game for business. In the same way, I might buy a bottle of Courvoisier for £20 and sell it for 120.
Okay.
We're all in this game for business.
We're part of the problem.
No, we're all
all part of the problem.
The whole world works on transactions. I know it sounds bad, but I can't think of one thing off head that's not transactional.
Yeah.
Like, you're filming here, you're not just doing it for the fun of it.
Exactly.
You've come here not for the fun of it. You've decided that, okay, there's a podcast that Chizo does, as much as he's a cool guy, but he does get a few views here and there. So if I talk about my mentoring on here, even if it's just 2 people that join, that's paid my time driving here and going back home. I can't think of anything that's not transactional. And whether you call it bartering, where, you know, I might have some rice, you might have some goat, and I say, look, you cook the goat, I'll cook the rice, and we can do a bit of a swap. I think even as a landlord, someone has had a fire in their home, they need somewhere to stay for a few days, they come to you. Someone's fleeing domestic violence, they need someone to stay, they come to you. So as much as I'm cracking a lot of joke, you are facilitating a gap in the market that needs to be filled. It's just a shame that it's just expensive. And a lot of people are one paycheck away from being broke.
You know another thing though, even in regards to the property thing, he definitely knows. Like, say in this Croydon area, there's a lot of these new builds and a lot of them are just empty.
Yeah.
Oh, serious? So people are building these flats, but can't afford to live in them.
There's a lot of empty new builds in Croydon. Yeah, they just, like, especially like in central Croydon.
But I don't know, is Croydon, okay, I pay £13.50 for a 2-bed flat. Would you say that's expensive?
No, in Croydon I pay £1,800 for a 2-bed flat. So I'm able.
What's the square footage of it, roughly? Do you know?
Oh, jeez, I don't even know.
I think it all depends on how much.
Yeah,
floor
it's
plan
a
space.
2-bed house.
2 big double rooms.
Yeah, two big double
Big
rooms.
front room?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're paying £1,800.
£1,800. So I'm able to offer the landlord more. So that's why even with the company, I'm paying 80. So when I first got the property, it was.
Is that east, south, or west?
That's the Croydon SW16.
That's the Fulton Heath end, the Norbury end. Of Croydon.
Oh, so you're not. Oh, so because I see
basically-
Croydon as here.
You're basically close to Streatham.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so you're Norbury.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that property's in there. Started 1350. Landlord bumped it up to 1800. Again.
That whole.
Yeah.
450 just like that.
Yeah. But again, I'm making a lot of money on that, bro. Like 1,500 every single month profit consistently, probably even more. So again, I understand. Again, it has to be fair to landlord. Landlord wants more money, but again, I'm making a good amount of money. So for me, it makes sense. So
I think the only reality we've got now is that when things are increasing, we just have to increase our salaries somehow.
that's
Whether
what
it's
I believe.
those guys who went to Sainsbury's the other day and didn't. Did you see the whole thing on
The coupon
The
thing.
coupon.
coupon thing?
Gangster.
And no,
That's
it's
gonna
not.
ca- that's gonna catch anyone who use their
I'll
card.
tell you why it's not. I'll tell you why it's not.
Put yourself.
And this is why a lot of people should not be criminals.
Which
So basically, let me explain to you what happened.
Which thing? Yeah, go on.
Let me explain to you what happened to Sainsbury's thing, so people who don't know. So there was a glitch on
In the
the
system.
Sainsbury's system where you get a
Next
coupon.
card.
Yeah.
But let's say you get a £4 coupon. You can basically buy anything up to £99 and scan that coupon as many times as you want. So imagine the
Bring it
bill
all the
goes
way
from
down.
99 down to £4. Now, this is my thing is this. If you know this is going on, I'm seeing people with 5, 6, 7 trolleys worth of shopping going, because it will only work out on a self-checkout. Because if you go to the human till, he's going to scan it once.
Yeah.
When I'm seeing these videos of people with 7 trolleys, and I'm saying this is why some people should just have 9 to 5s and not be criminals, because the average person is not a good criminal. They don't know how to use their brain, because you're going there with irons, ironing boards, blenders, and you're going with 7 trolleys where even the staff can see that something's wrong.
Something's wrong, yeah.
And then you're then getting angry when the
Yeah,
staff
they're
are telling
telling
you
you,
that what you're doing
Come
is wrong.
to the
Oh, but
till.
the system's allowing me. Bro, look, it doesn't say you got 1 coupon and you've scanned it so many times, but at the same time, times are hard.
I know.
And I think the funniest thing I find though is that when a business like Tesco's or Sainsbury's have so many stores, why do we almost feel like it's okay to steal from them? That's the part I don't get.
You know the funniest thing about
When someone
that,
has so
that-
many chains, it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. But do you know, just because I've got 100 shops, it doesn't mean that I'm winning. Obviously they're winning. But if you can't just steal from me because I have a lot, or is it okay to steal from me because I've got a lot? I see your face. You're looking like it's almost okay.
No, because I would be on the side of they've got it. So it's in a
I don't
sense.
get
Of,
that.
no, but it's in a sense of because it's a company.
He's got
it's like
15 Airbnbs.
But that's different.
People see
But that's different. That would be different.
Why is it different? That's a lot.
A loss is a
No,
loss.
it's a
It'll
lot.
be
Don't say it's different.
A loss is a
different.
loss.
It's
Bro, he's
completely
got
different.
15 of them.
I feel like people see landlords exactly the same way, bro. They're like, oh, the guy's
Potentially.
making other money, so if I don't pay rent, it doesn't matter. It's not affecting his pocket.
Potentially.
That's so it's the same concept.
But I see it because you're a person. I see it as like so stealing
Oh
from
wait,
Saint.
Tesco's not a... Wait, what?
No, Tesco.
Tesco's not owned by- there's not a CEO of Tesco.
It's completely different.
What? Explain how, please.
So Izzy would be a small
Loss
business.
is a loss.
Izzy would be a small business in my eyes.
loss is
a loss.
A loss is a lot.
No,
100%.
you never-
It's not a small
100%.
business anymore.
You never.
It's not, at 15 Airbnb
you
is
never
not a small
scale to
business
where you
owner.
need to be if everyone has.
If I own 15
100%.
restaurants,
I don't
I'm not a
disagree
small
with you.
business owner. He's not a small business owner with 15 Airbnbs. So no.
Would you
He's
say
not. He's
you're-
medium to large.
I think I'm small.
I'm comparing it to Sainsbury's.
I think I'm small.
But so wait, because Sainsbury's has got 100 stores or 200 stores over the UK, we can go into Sainsbury's and see a glitch and take
You know what's
advantage.
crazy?
No, it's
If-
not.
if-
It's not that we can.
If you saw
but
that glitch here, Wes,
Go on.
would you have told anyone?
I wouldn't have told a soul.
soul,
I wouldn't have told
yeah.
a soul.
Well, we can admit it's wrong what they're doing.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's wrong what they're doing because
Okay.
you should not steal. Like it's
'Cause in the same-
it's immoral. It's unethical. But at the same time, if you look at things, for example, you could relate it to landlords in this sense. So some people are going for a hard time and they're thinking that landlords are taking up all the properties, driving up the market price, etc. So in a way, they could feel like they're stealing from us. So why can I not steal back? In a way, and that's one perspective.
Stealing. It's not stealing though.
It's not, but it's different perspectives.
You've got to live
'cause
somewhere. Remember, there's a market value.
Yeah, but there's
You can
people.
go online and see what is the market value for a 2-bed flat in Croydon.
You're thinking as a businessman. Not everyone's a businessman.
It's just being normal. Anyone who goes to rent, do they not check what the rental value in an area is?
100%. I don't disagree with you, but there's an element of the perspective of the business person and the consumer is completely different.
Yes, but
So
I don't see how, because Sainsbury's or Tesco's or IKEA or whatever big
Yeah.
organisation has so many, that we then say, yeah, no, it's a minor, man.
I think it's the a loss is a loss. I agree with Chizzo in a way because a pound is a pound, the same value to everyone. But at the same time, what is the attachment to that pound for someone? So let's say, for example,
But what you're saying is that them losing. So what you're saying is that me having one restaurant and losing $2,000
Yeah.
is different to someone who is gauchos who have got so
100%.
many.
They
100%.
probably but Wes, they
Yeah.
probably lost 20 million in a day.
But theft, yeah.
yeah, but how would they make it back? Because if they, for example, put 5p on all their products to make back the margin for 6 months,
No, you can't look
They
at
could.
that, though.
No, I understand what you're saying.
For the next 2-3 months, those special deals you were getting are cancelled.
yeah,
So-
no,
so-
no.
so
some
basically-
people-
Someone's gonna feel
some
it.
families might be-
Someone's gonna feel
There
it.
you go.
Someone's
Some
gonna feel
families
it.
So technically then, a concept like wireless, technically then,
Yes.
where it's got 50,000 people there. It's minor than people climb the fences and run in because it's a minor. They need their money.
No, I mean,
You can steal from them.
from the business owner's perspective, of course not. And at the same time, if you take Chizzo, for example, with Summer of Love, right? If he scaled it up to be like a massive festival, it's still his thing. So it's still his thing. This losing 10K when it was small is the same when it's big, in a way. But for me...
I'm not following you this, bro.
For
I
me...
don't see how you can steal from big companies and say that. It's a
Alright,
minor.
cool. Have you never stolen anything from anyone?
I don't pay for the 30p bags.
Alright, cool. So that's stealing. If no
I'm
one,
hypocrite.
if no one,
I ain't
there we
paying
go.
for the 30p bag.
Right, cool. Why are you not paying 30p to a big company that's got millions? Why?
No, I'm a hypocrite.
Yeah, cool. So we agree, but you're just being
No, but I know it's wrong.
Alright, cool.
And I'm not saying it's right.
And I agree with you. So
No, but you're saying because they're a big company, yeah, it's a minor.
I'm not saying it's right, but it's a minor. It is a minor.
It's not.
It is a
That's
minor.
where we disagree.
It's a minor. It's not gonna
That's where we
affect.
disagree.
Bro, the turnover on the balance sheet is still gonna look
It
nice.
don't matter,
It's still
bro.
gonna look good.
It
And
don't
also, you have to take on board the fact that when you open a business,
Yeah.
risk and loss and stuff like that is something you have to factor in.
Yeah, but to
The same way when you're a landlord, you factor in voids.
But you can't say. So me say, okay, he's got 15 Airbnbs.
Cool.
Yeah. For me to sit there and say, oh, it's a minor easy if one of them don't pay.
No, that's mad. But I would never say it's a minor. But I'm saying.
You see what it is, yeah? Sometimes you don't realize this, yeah.
Go on.
You know that a lot of these places, for instance, you see a Tesco that's in West End.
Yeah.
You know that they're not making profit ever. You know
The
that, right?
rent is
you know that they
madness.
do it as a flagship store. Like
Yeah.
it's not for actual.
Yeah.
There's no profit in it. A lot of some of these stores are just there.
Yeah.
There's no profit in it. Sometimes you have these restaurants and these businesses in West End. It's just flagship to say I'm here.
Yeah.
The margins, don't get me wrong, Tesco are making their money, but sometimes the margins in some of these stores are so small